Alright, so let's look at how to change rectangular coordinates to polar coordinates. Um, this one here, this shows you how to go from polar to rectangular. I've got videos on that, you can check those out. But the one that we're doing in this video is rectangular to polar. So we'll use the fact that r squared is equal to x squared plus y squared, and tangent theta is equal to y over x. Alright, so that's what we're going to use. And just remember, r and theta, that's the polar coordinate. X and y, that's the rectangular coordinate. And what I'm going to do is I've got several examples, and each example will have its own video because they might take a little while to do on some of them. But here's the examples. So this will be video 1, video or example 1, example 2, example 3, 4, and then 5. So what I've done is each point, I've done a point in each quadrant, and then this video here, these points lie on the X and Y axis, so you can check those out too. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, so let's look at example 4, converting from rectangular coordinates to polar coordinates. Alright, so we've got to find r and we've got to find theta. So remember, r squared is equal to x squared plus y squared. So r is equal to the square root of x squared plus y squared. Alright, so let's plug these in. So I get r is equal to the square root of negative square root of 3 over 2 squared plus negative 1/2 squared. And so r is the square root. That's going to be 3 over 4 plus, and that's going to be 1 over 4. So that's going to be 4 over 4, which is 1. The square root of 1 is 1. So we get r is equal to 1. Alright, now we've got to find theta. And before I do that, let's go ahead and plot this point. So it's negative square root of 3 over 2, which that's going to come to the left, and then negative 1/2. I'm going to come down, negative 1/2. So we're in the third quadrant. Okay, I don't care about exactly where that point is. The most important thing here is knowing what quadrant it's in. Okay, and so here's theta. Okay, so we know that tangent theta is equal to y over x, so that's negative 1/2 over negative square root of 3 over 2. And so that's going to be negative 1/2 times, and then since it's negative 1/2 divided by this, it's negative 1/2 times the reciprocal, so times 2 over square root of 3. The 2's cancel, so I get tangent theta is equal to 1 over square root of 3. And then if I rationalize the denominator, I'm going to get tangent theta is square root of 3 over 3. Okay, alright, now yes, if you wanted to, you could use the unit circle and find out what theta is, but we're going to use reference angles. Okay, to me that's more important, is understanding reference angles than learning how to use that unit circle, because the unit circle only works with the special angles. Reference angles work with anything. Okay, so whenever we find theta, we know theta is what? The tangent of what is square root of 3 over 3? Well, that's 30 degrees. Okay, well, this 30 degrees, this is the angle from the first quadrant. Okay, see, this is this 30 degrees here. Okay, this is also our reference angle. Okay, and remember, your reference angle in this case, in the third quadrant, your reference angle is this one right here, so that's 30 degrees. Okay, so now we can find theta. So we get theta Now let's change colors. So we get theta is what? That's going to be 180 plus this 30 degrees. So 180 plus 30 degrees, which that's going to give us 210 degrees. And hopefully you can see how important it is to draw this, because if we wouldn't have drawn this and we would have just gone based on what theta was here, we would have ended up putting 30 degrees as our answer. Okay, so that's why you got to draw this out, and then once you get to 30 degrees, you see that 30 degrees is this first quadrant angle here. So that's not only is it a first quadrant angle, it's also our reference angle. So we've got to do the 180 plus the reference angle. And so we would get, as our solution, we would get R is 1 and theta is 210 degrees. Now, we want to get another pair of points. Okay, so if you look at this, we went out, R is 1, so we go over 1 and then we rotate 210, and that gets us to the point over here. Okay, now another option is we could say, okay, we want R to be negative, so we could say negative 1. Okay, so if we go negative 1, that goes to the left 1 unit, and then we rotate to this point here, and so we rotate how far? 30 degrees. And so this is another answer. Okay, and there's several answers that you can get, and they're all correct. Typically I like to just do R as positive, and I like to make my angle positive. This is the one I usually like to do. Okay, alright, so I hope the video helped. Give me a like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.